Харе Кришна, Кришна Кришна, Харе Харе, Харе Рама, Рама Рама, Харе Харе, Харе Харе Бол.
Recording in progress.
Ом Агьяна Тимиранда Сягина Анджана Шалакая Чакшурун Милитам Яната Смай Шри Гураве Намаха. Шри Читания Мано Биштам Стапитам Йена Бутале Свайрупа Кадама Агьям Дадати Свападантикам. Панча Калпатаруби Чакрипа Синубя Эва Чапа Титанам Паваны Бьё Вайшнава Бьё Намо Намаха. Джай Шри Кришна Чайтанья Прабху Нитянанда Шри Адвейта Гададхара Шри Васади Гаура Бхакта Вринда. Харе Кришна, Кришна Кришна, Харе Харе, Харе Рама, Рама Рама, Харе Харе. Good evening, Hare Krishna. Nice to see all of you. So we're going to discuss the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter, which is called The Perfection of Renunciation. So we have today's class. Then next week we have only one class on Wednesday, because Monday is yes, that's right. According to the schedule which was given to me. We have Ekadashi on Monday and we have Balaram Purnima on Friday. So because of that, we have only one class on Wednesday next week. At least such schedule was given to me. And two more and after this, the next week, after that week, two more classes, Monday and Wednesday. Totally 4 classes for this 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And the structure of this 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita goes like this. Likely you have manuals where the structure is given, but anyway, the first 12 verses are about Karma Yoga. Arjuna is asking Krishna about renunciation. What is the purpose of renunciation? He is saying that there are different Vedic philosophers who have different opinions about sannyasa, about tyaga, so what to do. And Krishna gives his own opinion, which is the most authoritative, the most important. He explains in first 12 verses of Bhagavad Gita how to become free from bondage, karmic bondage, how to do our duty with detachment. It is the first 12 verses. And then verses from 13 to 17 are about 5 causes or 5 factors of action. It means that usually living entity thinks that he is the doer, kartaham iti manete. So here in verses from 13 to 17, Krishna will explain the philosophical background, philosophical foundation of this detached work, detached activity. What should one understand if he wants to act with detachment externally? What should be his understanding, his knowledge? How everything is arranged. This knowledge is given in the verses from 13 to 17. So let's go to the verses and but where is Dwarkadish Prabhuji? What happened? What happened? There is no Dwarkadish Prabhuji here. Who will be asking? Who will be asking the questions? Who will be asking the questions? Okay. Anyway, we will start from the very first verse. It is verse 18.1. And Narottam Prabhuji, please kindly read this verse.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Arjuna uvacha sannyasasya mahabaho tattvam ichhami veditum tyagasya cha rishikesha pritakkeshi nishudana. Translation. Arjuna said, Almighty Arm One, I wish to understand the purpose of renunciation, that is tyaga, and of the renounced order of life, that is sannyasa, O killer of the Keshi demon, master of the senses. Hare Krishna.
There is very interesting beginning of the purport to this very first verse of 18th chapter. Srila Prabhupada informing us that actually Bhagavad Gita is already over, and this 18th chapter is considered to be additional chapter for Bhagavad Gita. So it is some kind of summarization of what was already explained in previous chapters. That's why don't be surprised when you will see that some points that are here in 18th chapter are repeated. They are related to previous chapters. He is asking, Arjuna is asking, I want to understand the purpose of renunciation and renounced order of life. Renunciation is described. The term tyaga is used. Tyaga, renunciation. And sannyasa, renounced order of life. So he wants to understand what is the difference between these two terms, or better to say, is there any difference or there is no any difference? Means, what is the meaning of these terms? He wants to understand the purpose of sannyasa and tyaga and the meaning of these terms and how these terms are interrelated. Like here in the purport to this verse 18.1, Baladeva Vidyabhushana, he writes, Arjuna is asking this verse. I will, this place. Baladeva Vidyabhushana, he explains in such way that Arjuna inquires in this verse, do the words sannyasa and tyaga have completely different meanings, like the two words mountain and tree, or they have congruous meanings, like the words Kuru and Pandava, means the opposite, something opposite. Are they some opposite terms, or they are synonymous, or they are just different and not related to each other, like mountain and tree? It is what Arjuna wants to know. If the first case is true, means these terms are not related, then I want to know what the separate identities of sannyasa and tyaga are. If the second case is true, means it is the opposite terms, then maybe there is something superficial. There is some superficial distinction between these two ideas, and I would like to know what that is. O mighty armed Krishna, O Hrishikesha, because you are the impeller of the active functions of intelligence, you yourself have brought about my doubt. O killer of Kesha, please destroy my doubt as you destroyed Keshi. What was this name, Krishna's name, which describes that Krishna killed Kesha the demon? Kesha or Keshanisudana or something like this? Don't you remember? What is Krishna's name? Which describes...
Keshanisudana.
Keshanisudana, yeah, Keshanisudana. Okay, we have the whole bhajan, Vibhava Rishesha, Loka Pravisha, and so on, which is absolutely compiled only from names of Krishna. Names of Krishna. Okay, so Arjuna wants to understand the meaning of these two terms, because you see, before we discuss any subject matter, it is really important to understand what we are discussing. It is very important to give the definitions for each and every term. So previously, these terms were used in verses 513 and 420. And Baladeva Vidyabhushana was quoting these verses in his purport. For example, verse 513, here we can see this word sannyasyasте, which means, according to word-by-word translation, means giving up. 513. So here it is written, when the embodied living being controls his nature and mentally renounced all actions, he resides happily in the city of 9 gates, the material body, neither working nor causing work to be done. So here, in case of sannyas, the definition is given that it is about self-control, He controls his nature. You will get more details in Nectar of Instruction, verse number 1, where the self-control is described. The control of tongue, speech, genitals, belly, mind, anger, all these things. So the idea of sannyasa here in the verse 5:13 is described like self-control is there, and also he mentally renounces all actions. But anyway, some kind of clarification is needed. That's why Arjuna is asking for this clarification. Or for example, here in Bhagavad Gita 4:20, the word tyaga is used. Tyaktva here, tyaktva, which means again giving up, the same idea. And the verse goes like this: abandoning all attachment to the results of his activities, ever satisfied and independent, he performs no fruitive action, although engaged in all kinds of undertakings. So let's discuss the difference between these two terms, tyaga and sannyasa. We are going to the verse number 2, because the difference is explained here by Lord Krishna himself in the next verse 18.2, and I think Dwarkadish Prabhuji mercifully will read the verse, right?
Yeah, sorry Prabhu, I'm late today because my sister's husband passed away last night.
Oh.
So today is a funeral. I just finished the funeral and just rushed back.
Funeral.
So I was late. My apologies to the team.
Okay, devotees, let's chant Hare Krishna for the benefit of the soul who passed away. Okay, yeah. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank you very much, all devotees. I hope everything will be fine for him. He's not a devotee. But his family is in favor of devotion, but they're not chanting. But today I went to there and I did a lot of preaching and everything. As I mentioned to you, today people are scared. Why what happened to us if we are not chanting the Hare Krishna? So we are going to do the 11th Simriti Sabha in about 10 days' time. I will be using a lot of explanation how important is Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and it's an opportunity for me to influence them by chanting the holy name.
Oh, very
Hare
nice,
Krishna.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So did they accept your arguments?
Accept the arguments. I will tell them also there are devotees whom I attend in the class also devoted their time to chant for the departed soul. I will tell them also. Thank you very much.
Great. Okay, so let's go further. Dwarkadish Prabhuji, please read this verse.
Okay, bro. Yeah, text 2. Sri Bhagavan Vacha Kamayanam Karmanam Nyasam Sanyasam Kavayo Vidu Sarva Karma Pala Tyagam Prahus Tyagam Vichaksana. Translation: the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the giving up of activities that are based on material desire is what great learned men call the renounced order of life sannyasa, and giving up the results of all activities is what the wise call renunciation tyaga. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So you see, the question raises, what should we give up? The difference between sannyasa and tyaga. What should we give up? Should we give up our material desires and we should not act on the basis on different selfish motives, material desires, and so on? And it is called renunciation. Or renunciation means tyaga, means we are doing something and we are not attached to the results of all our activities. Like we have this verse. Where is this verse? It is verse 2.47. 2.47. Karmanya vedhikaraste mapkhali shukadachana. Ma karma abhala heturbhur mate sangostv akarmani. Krishna gives direct instruction to Arjuna here in the verse 2.47. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. So here in this verse 2:47, the conception of being non-attached to the fruits of our activities is described. How we can understand that someone is not attached to the fruits? He should understand that he is not the cause of the results of his activities. Well, we will read in 18th chapter in the verses from 13 to 17, as I told you, we will read about 5 causes of action, 5 factors of action. It means that, well, we are also one of the causes, but we are not the only one cause. There are some more causes. So not to be attached to the results of activities, it means to have clear understanding how and why our actions how and why we succeed or fail with our actions, on what our actions depends. So it will be described in the verses from 13 to 17. But anyway, even at the very beginning of Bhagavad Gita, in the second chapter, 2.47, Krishna is saying, never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities. So give up this idea that only I am the doer. And then time passes, and only in 18th chapter, Krishna will give the whole picture. That's why this second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, as you probably remember, it is entitled, it is called Bhagavad Gita summarized. The second chapter is summarization of Bhagavad Gita, and 18th chapter is also summarization. It is summarized, but from different angles of view. So one is not attached to the results of his activities if he understands that not only on him everything depends, and also ultimately it depends on Lord. Ultimately it depends on Supreme Lord, like we will read in those verses. So not to be attached to the fruits, it means I do whatever depends on me. And I understand that I can fail or I can succeed, everything in the hands of Supreme Lord. If someone thinks that he is the only doer, the only one doer who exists, then he will be very much frustrated when he will fail, or when he will succeed, he will become very proud. But if we are conscious about 5 factors of the action, which we are going to study today, then it makes us humble in all circumstances. And this humility is very important, like probably you remember from 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, these qualities of knowledge. Amanitvam adamhitvam, humility is very important. Otherwise, if there is no such humility, we're stuck. We're stuck on this spiritual path if these basic elementary qualities are not there. So Krishna, he explains the meaning of these 2 terms, sannyasa and tyaga, and further in this chapter he will be using these terms like synonymous terms. In the very beginning, here in the second verse, he distinguishes between sannyasa and tyaga, but in next verses, throughout the whole chapter, these 2 terms, sannyasa and tyaga, will be used like synonymous synonymous terms. So here in purport, Srila Prabhupada he is already giving the answer, which we will get from Krishna after few verses in this chapter, not now. But Srila Prabhupada immediately he gives the answer. what should we prefer? What should we choose, sannyasa or tyaga? He explains that we should prefer tyaga, means we should act. We have to act. The only one point that we should not be attached to the results, to the fruits. So let's read the purport. The performance of activities for results has to be given up. This is the instruction of Bhagavad Gita. But activities leading to advanced spiritual knowledge are not to be given up. This will be made clear in the next verses. In the Vedic literature, there are many prescriptions of methods for performing sacrifice for some particular purposes. There are certain sacrifices to perform to attain a good sun or to attain elevation to the higher planets. Maybe you remember that verse we were reading from second canto of Bhagavatam, where different demigods were listed to whom you can approach if you wish to have a son or daughter or grain or wealth or pleasant sex life, and a lot of different things are listed in that verse from second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So such sacrifices are there in Vedic culture, but we prefer to serve Krishna. There are certain sacrifices to perform to attain a good sun or to attain elevation to the higher planets, but sacrifices prompted by desires should be stopped. However, sacrifice for the purification of one's heart or for advancement in the spiritual science should not be given up. So, at the very beginning of 18th chapter, Srila Prabhupada explains that renunciation, it doesn't mean that we are avoiding any activity. It is not possible to avoid activity. The soul, Jivatma soul, is active according to its nature. So anyway, we have to act. We have to do something. And if our mind is not engaged positively, then automatically it will be engaged negatively, because it is the nature of one's consciousness, of one's nature, to do something. Then the question raises, what should we do? Some impersonalists, they are trying to avoid any activity at all under the title of renunciation, but it is not natural practice, because living entity cannot avoid activities, but these activities can be dedicated to Krishna, to spiritual master, or it can be done for purification of one's heart, and in that case it is good for everyone. And we have the verse 18.3, and we will ask Keshavi Palini Mataji to read this shloka. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yajam dosavat eke karma prahu mani sina yadana tapa karma na yajam iti chapare. Translation. Some learned men declared that all kinds of fruitive activities should be given up as faulty. Yet, other sages maintain that acts of sacrifice, charity and penance should never be abandoned. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you very much. So there are different opinions. Like maybe you have heard, there is such term in Vedic culture, Muni, wise man. And one of the characteristics of Muni, that he has his own opinion, and his opinion is not obviously the same like an opinion of another Muni. If someone wants to be a Muni, he has to have his own opinion. The same situation is in mundane philosophy, which we study when we get higher education. Usually we have such short course of some philosophies from ancient Greece till modern ages, and usually it goes very simple. Each and every next philosopher, he differs from other philosophers. He creates his own philosophy. There is no parampara principle in mundane philosophy, and it is not supposed to be there. It is the culture when people are creating or like Srila Prabhupada was using this term, concocting different mental conceptions according to the life, how it is created and what is the purpose of life. And sometimes these conceptions are, some points, some conceptions which are that are written by these philosophers, they go according to religious principles or Vedic philosophy, sometimes not. That's why we have this book, 3 volumes book, which is called Dialectical Spiritualism. Maybe you have heard of this book, Dialectical Spiritualism, where Srila Prabhupada, he analyzes different philosophies from the point of view of Krishna consciousness philosophy. Dialectical Spiritualism. Have you seen or have you heard of this book previously? No? You can find it in Bhaktivedanta database, but I also can send you this book. It is very interesting. It goes, I will write down that Dialectical Spiritualism. I will write down that I should share this book with you. But it is in Bhaktivedanta database and follow also. So, very simple principle. Srila Prabhupada's disciple or servant or secretary, usually Shyamasundara Prabhu or Hayagriva Prabhu, he approaches Srila Prabhupada, he reads some quotes from Socrates or from other philosopher, and then Srila Prabhupada is analyzing this from the point of view of Krishna consciousness. Or, for example, some parts of this book are quoted in the book in Quest of Enlightenment. In Quest of Enlightenment, you can find a few articles from this book, the analysis of philosophy of French philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre and some other. And it is quite funny. It is quite funny because you can easily see that these people who are considered to be wisdom embodied, they are considered to be wisdom embodied in mundane world. But from the point of view of Krishna consciousness, you can see how conditioned they are, how conditioned these people are. It is very interesting analysis. And Srila Prabhupada was saying that between all these philosophers, Socrates is the smartest one because he directly told, I only know that I know nothing. He told, maybe you know that Socrates, he was saying like this, I only know that I know nothing. So Srila Prabhupada, he responded that looks like he is the smartest one between all these philosophers because he honestly told it and because he understands that he knows nothing. Okay, this book is very nice. I will share this book with you, and we are going to the purport compiled by Burijan Prabhu, and he is using purports written by Vishwanatha Chakravarti and by Baladeva Vidyabhushana. So these two opinions, that some people, they are saying that Yagya Dana Tapasya should be abandoned. Some people, they are saying they should not be abandoned. So Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur, he explains that the first group mentioned refers to the followers of Sankhya philosophy. They are saying that Yagya Dana Tapasya should be abandoned. Desiring to avoid the reactions that fruitive actions bring, they encourage renunciation of all fruitive activities, especially those based on karma kanda, and which have as their main fault violence toward animals during sacrifice. Well, in karma kanda, yes, if we take these scriptures where karma kanda rituals are described, usually different sacrifices with that are used where animals are used are described there. But we are not doing this. Our main sacrifice, our main yagya is to chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Very simple, blissful process. And no animals are killed because of that. Very simple process. No one is killed, everyone is alive. In the second part of the text number 3, the karma mimamsis opinion is given that Yagyadana and Tapasya should not be abandoned. They say that sacrifice, charity and penance are prescribed in the Vedas and should therefore never be renounced. Because these activities are mentioned in Shastra, they say no one should consider them faulty or violent. And now Krishna, he gives his opinion because Arjuna is asking Krishna to give his own opinion, to give Krishna's opinion. Arjuna is a devotee, Arjuna is the friend of Krishna. So, because of that, he easily answers. Krishna easily answers on his questions. He shares his opinion. It is not just someone's opinion. It is Krishna's opinion. Just let me check one moment. So some people, they are giving such points of view, and now Krishna humbly saying here, now hear my judgment about renunciation. It will be Krishna's opinion. It is not just someone's opinion. So let's read the verse, and we will ask Mataji Manju Bhashini Vishnu Priya. We'll ask her to read the verse and translation. Hare Krishna Mataji, good evening.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Text 4. Nischayam shruno me tatra tyage bharata sadatam tyage hi purushas vigraha trin vidaha samprata krita. Translation, O best of Bharata, now hear my judgment about renunciation. O tiger among men, renunciation is declared in the scriptures to be of 3 kinds. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So in purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that because we are dealing with Krishna's opinion, it should be taken as final, like it is written here. He is Supreme Personality of Godhead. When he gives his judgment, it should be taken as final. After all, the Vedas are different laws given by the Lord. Like in fifth, not in fifth, in sixth canto of Bhagavatam, we can find this statement, this definition of religion given by Dharmaraj or by Yamaraj. He gives the definition of religion. Sakshat tu dharmam bhagavat pranitam means religion. It is laws that are given by the God. So Krishna is giving this judgment or this opinion, and it should be accepted as final, and it should be accepted with gratitude, devotion, and so on, like Arjuna was able to do this in the verse number 18.73. 18.73. We will read this verse in future also, but now we're just taking this like an example. На что мохах смритир лабдха, тват прасадан мая чута, стхитосми гата сандехах, каришьева чанам тава. Arjuna said, my dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt, and I am prepared to act according to your instructions. So you see, it is proper attitude to the Krishna's judgment, Krishna's opinion, Krishna's instructions given in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. What is his attitude? Arjuna's attitude, because he is ideal disciple. He is disciple of Krishna. So his memory is there, means he understands, I am servant of Krishna. He understands his position. He is firm, he is free from doubt. It is the duty of spiritual master to make us free from doubts. If we have doubts, we just approach him and ask questions and clarify everything. And also, I am prepared to act according to your instructions. This readiness, this determination is here. And it is the byproducts of this spiritual power which is given to the disciple by spiritual master. We get instructions. When we get instructions, we get also power to execute these instructions, and we have benediction to be able to execute these instructions. It goes all together. Not just we get instruction, but we are also become, at the same time, we become empowered to execute this instruction, and we become blessed to do this. So he remembers who he is. He is determined to act. He has no doubt. And in purport, very important point regarding this attitude, Arjuna's attitude to Krishna's instructions. The living entity's conditional position is to be a servitor. He has to serve either the illusory Maya of the Supreme Lord. If he serves the Supreme Lord, he is in his normal condition. But if he prefers to serve the illusory external energy, then certainly he will be in bondage. So it gives the answer on very simple question, how we can understand, am I in Maya or not? Very simple answer. What about my readiness? To whom or to what I'm ready to follow now? What kind of my determination now at this moment, at this particular moment? Am I happy or ready, like Arjuna, he is saying here, that he is ready, prepared to act according to the instructions of Krishna, and he is firm and there is no doubt and memory is there, he remembers who he is. It means he is free from Maya. Otherwise, one is in Maya if he is very much prepared to act according to his own whimsical desires and he has another conception of himself. So it is very interesting. This verse is very important, 18.73, because of this verse we can understand the symptoms when someone's illusion is now gone. So this attitude which Arjuna displays here in the verse 18.73 is very important if we are speaking about final judgment of Supreme Lord. What should be our attitude to this judgment? Arjuna, he shows this on his own example. And now we are going to the verse number 5, and we will ask Taruna Jagannath Prabhuji to read this verse. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Hare.
Yagyadana tapa karma natyachyam karma evatat yachino danam tapaschaiva pavanani manisinam. Translation: act of sacrifice, charity and penance are not to be given up. They must be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity and penance purify the great soul. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So you see, now we're going to open our Srila Prabhupada's quotes book, where Srila Prabhupada emphasizes this point that no one should give up yagya, dana and tapasya. You can also take a note somewhere that it is really important. So he explains this in the class which he gave in Mayapur in 1876 in February, Srimad Bhagavatam 799. Even if you think that you have become very great saintly person, still you cannot give up this. Yagya dana tapa kriya natyajam karyam evatat. In the human society, this is very essential, that one must perform yagya. That is stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Just like a brahmachari, he must perform yagya. Then grihastha, he must give charity. And who will give charity? Now, they cannot maintain even family. And where is the question of charity? The grihastha must give in charity. Yagya, dana, and tapaha. And those who are vanaprastha and sannyasi, they should practice tapasya, austerities, yagya dana tapah kriya natyajyam karyam evatat. So you see, here in this quote, Srila Prabhupada, he is speaking about about representatives of different social orders. So it is related to the verses from 16th chapter, the very first 3 verses where divine qualities were described. And Srila Prabhupada was explaining that such and such quality is important for brahmachari, svadhyaya, to study sacred scriptures, and austerities are important for vanaprastha, and so on. So again, if we want to understand what kind of yagya, dana, and tapasya is expected from us, we can use these verses from 16th chapter, from 1 to 3, and also we can use famous verses from 13th chapter, from 8 to 12, qualities of knowledge. And it will give us some kind of understanding what should we do. But of course, the rule number 1, that we should approach our spiritual master and we should ask him, what will be my yagya? What will be my yagya? Actually, this instruction is given to everyone. Some standard set of instructions is given to everyone. You chant Hare Krishna, you take prasadam, you preach, you deal, you associate with devotees, read books, and so on. So anyway, yagya is given. If we accept this as our yagya, how we can perform these activities like yagya with understanding that we dedicated to Krishna and to spiritual master, then it becomes yagya. Otherwise, it's just some mechanical process. And people, they are asking, what should I do? And they get instructions from spiritual authorities. You do this, you do that, and so on. But it is not sufficient just to do something externally. This mood that I dedicate my efforts to Supreme Lord and to spiritual master is very important. And it makes our activities to be yagya. If we dedicate something to someone, then it is sacrifice. If we don't have this mood that we offer, that we dedicate it to someone, then what kind of sacrifice, right? Sacrifice means this mood, this idea, this approach. Because you have taken sannyasa, you cannot give up these things. Yagya, dana, tapaha. It must continue. You cannot say we have given up everything. We have given up these things also. No, Krishna therefore said, Yagya, dana, tapah, kriya, pavanani, manishanam. Even if you think that you have become very great saintly person, still you cannot give up this yagya, dana, tapah, kriya. So if it is not an excuse, if someone became saintly person, he became sadhu. There is one more excuse, the opposite excuse, which some devotees, some tricky devotees, they are using. They are not saying that I'm too much elevated to give up yagya, dana, tapasya. Some of them, they can say, I'm too much fallen to go there. I'm too much fallen to attend temple programs. It is the opposite excuse. But anyway, it is also some mental tricks. I know one bhakta who is saying, I will not come on Sunday program. I'm so fallen that even Lord Nityananda cannot help me. So fallen I am. So it is also excuse, and we should not trust our mind so much. Anyway, Om apavitrach pavitrava, sarvavastam gatopiva, right? Dvarkadish Prabhuji means someone can be pure or impure, not so much important.
No, Om apavitra pavitrava sarvatam gatopiva, yasumarit pundarigacham, Sabhyantara Suchi, Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu.
Yeah, that's right. Means you just remember Lord Vishnu and then everything will be good. You can be pure, or you can be contaminated, but your consciousness will be purified because of this smaranam, because of this remembrance. So this excuse that even Lord Nityananda will not help me, this excuse is not accepted, not accepted. So we're going back to the book. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So here, Srila Prabhupada as an example of Yagya, Dana and Tapasya, he gives the example that he himself, for some period of time, it is not that he was always doing like this. For some period of time, he was performing Vivaha Yagyas himself. He was performing Vivaha Yagyas for his disciples. And he was criticized, severely criticized by his godbrothers from India that what you are doing, you are sannyasi, you are not supposed to take part in this Vivaha Yagyas. And it is one of the adjustments that Srila Prabhupada took. Like, for example, he permitted us to chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. In the very beginning, he was expecting us to chant 64. So it is one of adjustments. And it is also the adjustment which is meant for benefit of society, of ISKCON society and society in general. But anyway, he was doing this for some period of time. Srila Prabhupada he was doing, but then he gave it up, not because of some false motives, but just because he could easily see that those people who are getting married through this Vivaha Yagya, which was performed by him, these people, they easily get married and they easily are divorced just because of their own desire, which is typical for Western culture. So because of that, for some time, Srila Prabhupada, he was doing this Vivaha Yagyas, then he gave it up, also because after some time we have gotten ISKCON some Purahits, some priests, some pujaris, devotees who were able to do these Agnihotras instead of Srila Prabhupada. And the main engagement, the main service which Srila Prabhupada was trying to do and was trying to be focused on, of course, it is translation of the books. Translation, publishing of the books, writing the purports and so on. So in purport, Srila Prabhupada he writes, should a sannyasi who is in the renounced order of life and who has given up his family relations encourage the marriage ceremony? The Lord says here that any sacrifice which is meant for human welfare should never be given up. It is the principle. If it is good for human welfare, then one should not give it up. Then his explanation goes further. Vivaha Yagya, the marriage ceremony, is meant to regulate the human mind so that it may become peaceful for spiritual advancement. For most men, this Vivaha Yagya should be encouraged even by persons in the renounced order of life. Sannyasis should never associate with women, but that doesn't mean that one who is in the lower stages of life, a young man, should not accept a wife in the marriage ceremony. All prescribed sacrifices are meant for achieving the Supreme Lord. Therefore, in the lower stages, they should not be given up. Similarly, charity is for the purification of the heart. If charity is given to suitable persons, as described previously, it leads one to advanced spiritual life. So it depends on the stage. For a lower stage, for stage which is higher, different prescriptions are there. And again, this Vivaha Yagya and this marriage, it is not for sense enjoyment. It is for becoming peaceful, for spiritual advancement. So it is spiritual vision. That's why Srila Prabhupada was taking part in this. And he had and he was criticized by his god brothers because of such activities. God brothers were saying, "Why are you dealing with these men and women on the West? Why you are mixing? Why you are dealing with them?" And he was responding, "Actually, there is no men and women on the West, only animals." Only animals. It was his response to his god brothers. Hare Krishna. Okay, verse 16. 18. Verse 18.6. Sarva Loka Pati Krishna Prabhuji. Can you read? Can you read? Is it possible?
Yes, Prabhu, okay.
Oh, very nice. Good evening.
Good evening, Prabhu.
Uh-huh.
One sec. So, text 16. Text 6, sorry.
6.
Itya
Yes.
api tu, yeah. Itya api tu karmani sangam chakva palani cha katva yanti me pataha nisham matam uttamam. Translation. All these activities should be performed without attachment or any expectations of results. They should be performed as a matter of duty, O son of Partha. This is my final opinion. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you very much. So you see, it is his final opinion. There were two options. The first one, that renunciation means not to abandon activities that are motivated by selfish motives, selfish desires. It was one option. The second option was that renunciation means that we renounce from fruits of actions. We are not attached to the fruits. So Krishna gives his final opinion according to his understanding. Renunciation means we are acting because we cannot be inactive. It is not natural for spiritual soul, for living entity. We are active, but we are not attached, or we are not expecting too much. We are doing our best. Yeah, we are doing our best, because you see, sometimes there can be false understanding of this detachment from fruits. Some people, they can think, I'm not attached to the fruits. It means I will be acting just as it goes. I'm not going to put endeavors. Let Krishna decide what will happen. Let Krishna arrange everything. So detachment from fruits or from results means we are doing the best what we can do. At the same time, we are not in illusion that everything depends on us. We understand that there are 5 causes or 5 factors of any action, which we are going to discuss today. So it is point number 1, the first characteristic of renunciation according to Krishna's opinion, final opinion. And the second characteristic is that it should be performed as a matter of duty. So Krishna is emphasizing the importance of dutiful and detached work. You can take a note. Dutiful and detached. Dutiful and detached. It is our policy in ISKCON. We're trying to be dutiful and responsible, and at the same time, detachment also should be there. Okay, we're reading the purport. Although all sacrifices are purifying, one should not expect any result by such performances. In other words, all sacrifices which are meant for material advancement in life should be given up, but sacrifices that purify one's existence and elevate one to the spiritual plane should not be stopped. everything that leads to Krishna consciousness must be encouraged. In this Srimad Bhagavatam also it is said that any activity which leads to devotional service to the Lord should be accepted. That is the highest criterion of religion. A devotee of the Lord should accept any kind of work, sacrifice, charity which will help him in the discharge of devotional service to the Lord. And or for example, we're using this software, this Zoom, to have this association, to have this discussion. Those who were creating this application, Zoom application, likely they are not chanting Hare Krishna, but were using these facilities for Krishna. So it is the whole art of Yukta Vairagya, or real, genuine renunciation. Whatever is there, we're thinking how we can engage it in devotional service. Some people they can engage, some people they cannot. It depends on their capacities and also on their intelligence, how we can use it, how we can engage it in devotional service. Like for example, Srila Prabhupada once was in this famous French museum in Paris, which is called Louvre. Louvre, and many sculptures of Renaissance epoch are there, and pictures. And he was going through the hall, and on the left side, on the right side, there were many naked sculptures, and he was looking on these sculptures, statues, very attentively. And he was accompanied by brahmacharis, sannyasis, who were just looking on the floor, trying not to see all these naked statues. And then finally Srila Prabhupada asked his companions, do you like beautiful women? Do you like beautiful women? And these people, brahmacharis and sannyasis, they didn't know what to say. Srila Prabhupada here responded, you just bring all of them to me and I will engage them in Krishna consciousness. I will give them service. So you see, this material energy is very powerful. And there are these three famous hooks by which one can be very easily captured in this material world. I mean, wealth, money, this is the first one. The second one is the opposite sex. And the third one is false prestige, and this desire to be worshipped and respected and so on. So usually if we are not transcendental, if we are still under influence of three modes of material nature, then we should understand what are my limits, what are my limits, what I can engage in devotional service and what I cannot engage. Like Srila Prabhupada, he was giving this proverb, likely Bengali proverb, that one should be expert enough to catch big fish without being, without being watered. Do you remember this proverb? Yes? He is saying, Srila Prabhupada is saying that it is the art, it is the expertise when one is able to catch big fish without being watered, without being covered by water. So it is the whole art. So if someone is not transcendental, he should understand what I can engage, whom I can engage, whom I cannot engage. Otherwise, spiritual fall down also can happen. Like they say in France, we had this famous leader, Bhagavan Goswami, who was trying to preach to some movie stars, French movie stars, and finally he had some sexual intercourse with one of them, this sannyasi, and he fell down and he left ISKCON. And till now, ISKCON has some troubles with its reputation in France. We should understand what are our limits, what we can use in devotional service and what we cannot use. We should know our limits. So here, dutiful work and detached work. It is the final opinion given by Krishna. And we are going to the next verse, verse number 7. And we will ask Mataji Divya to read this verse number 7. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Text 7. Nitya tasya tu sanyasaha karmano nopapadyate mohatasya parityagas tamasaha parikrititaha. Translation. Prescribed duties should never be renounced. If one gives up his prescribed duties because of illusion, such renunciation is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So now, from verse 7 to verse 9, this renunciation in three modes of material nature are described. So the motive to give up prescribed duties, the motive in ignorance is when one does it under influence of illusion. What does it mean? Influence of illusion. It means we get proper understanding of our spiritual life from Guru Sadhu Shastra, then suddenly someone approaches us and he gives some false conception of life. He is preaching us some materialism or impersonalism or agnosticism, whatever. And then we somehow we become attracted by this propaganda, by this idea. And we come to the understanding that, okay, why should I chant Hare Krishna? Proper understanding we can get from three authoritative sources: Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. So there are different levels of devotees: Kanishtra Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, Uttama Adhikari. Those who are Kanishthas or those who are neophytes, they have so-called Komala Shraddha. Komala Shraddha, it means that their faith is not stable. Their faith really depends on with whom they are associating right now. And other people, they can more or less easily convert them to their system of beliefs. It can these beliefs, this idea, this conception can be changed. His conception of life can be changed. It makes the difference between Kanishtra Adhikari and Madhyama Adhikari, because Madhyama Adhikari is one who, if he will be having some discussion or debate with another person who is materialist or impersonalist or whatever, he will be having debate and even being defeated. Even if materialist or impersonalist will find arguments which support his position, materialistic position, impersonal position. Anyway, Madhyama Adhikari, even being defeated, he doesn't change his own opinion based on Guru Sadhu Shastra. He is saying, I'm just not sufficiently qualified to find arguments against this materialistic or impersonal philosophy. It is my fault. But anyway, I know for sure that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this firm faith, this nishtha is really needed for spiritual life. We should become stable in spiritual life. And Srila Prabhupada in one of purports to Bhagavad Gita and also in Nectar of Instruction, he explains that one should not remain on neophyte platform. One should not remain on Kanishtka level. Because if one remains there, then he can be influenced by someone and he can go away from devotional service. So to renounce under the mode of ignorance, it means we have Guru, Sadhu Shastra, we have books, we have Prasadam, we have Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we have everything. But somehow someone from outside who is not practicing anything, who doesn't know anything, he is saying, why you are chanting Hare Krishna? You don't have to chant Hare Krishna. Is somehow we become convinced that, okay, this guy knows what should I do. We accept someone's authority who is not approved by Guru Sadhu Shastra. It means tamaguna. How we can protect ourselves from tamaguna? by understanding, by distinguishing that there are some things in life that are authoritative and some things are not authoritative, it is not that all the same. It is not that all on the same level. There are things that will help us advance spiritually, and there are some things that will destroy our spiritual life. Verse number 8 is about renunciation in mode of passion. And we will ask Navina Jagannathi, right? Or what is your name? Sorry, Mataji. Navina?
Jagannatheshwari.
Jagannatheshwari. Navina Jagannatheshwari Mataji. Okay. You please read the verse.
68. Dukkham iti eva yattama kaya klasha vayat kajit sakarya rajasam tyagam naiva tyagam palam labhet. Translation. Anyone who gives up prescribed duty as troublesome or out of fear of bodily discomfort is said to have renounced in the mode of passion. Such action never leads to the elevation of renunciation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So again, you see, I was telling you this previously when we were reading 17th chapter, and I will repeat it again, that it is very important criteria that if we know some senior devotees who are performing their services, they are on position of pujari or temple president or so on and so on, and they are doing this for a long time, likely it means they are not in mode of passion, because it is the power of mode of goodness to maintain. Well, there is what? There is creation, there is maintenance, and there is destruction. So if someone is stable in his devotional service, if he is there for a long time, then it maybe it is highly likely the symptom that he is not driven by mode of passion. Such person is not driven by mode of passion, and it is good. Otherwise, like we have read previously, that austerities, they are in different modes of material nature, and austerity which is under the influence of mode of passion, it will not last for long, because it is driven by desire to be respected, to be glorified. You remember these things, right? So Bhagavad Gita, in the very beginning, in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita gives the solution, or there is an explanation how one can act, what kind of attitude he should have regarding his prescribed duties. Here it is written that there is a renunciation in the mode of passion when someone gives up prescribed duties as troublesome or out of fear of bodily discomfort. At the same time, in second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we have this famous verse about the need that we need to learn how to tolerate the dualities of material world. It is the proper approach to executing our prescribed duties. Bhagavad Gita 2:14. Matras parshastu kaunteya, shitoshna sukha dukkha dah, agamapayano nityas, tam stitikshasa bharata. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress, and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception of scion of Bharata, and one must learn how to tolerate them without being disturbed. So he is saying, Krishna is saying, you just learn how to tolerate. On the basis of understanding that everything is non-permanent. It is all changeable. Happiness, distress, winter, summer, and so on. It is all changeable. Otherwise, if one under influence of mode of passion, it will be difficult for him to tolerate because this mode of passion makes one attached to the fruits of his activities and makes one impatient. So here Krishna explains to Arjuna in this verse 2.14 that it is important to be tolerant, to understand that it is not that everything happens immediately, and it doesn't happen immediately, and it is not that it will happen in such way. And it is not that when you are trying to achieve your goal, the whole way around it will be pleasant for you when you are trying to achieve this goal. It can be, these dualities will be there. These dualities will be there, and it also takes time for us to achieve any serious goal in this life. Like here in Nectar of Instruction, verse number 3, we have this analogy. Just let me find this analogy. Very nice analogy is given here. The successful execution of Krishna conscious activities requires both patience and confidence. A newly married girl naturally expects offspring from her husband, but she cannot expect to have them immediately after marriage. Of course, as soon as she is married, she can attempt to get a child, but she must surrender to her husband, confident that her child will develop and be born in due time. Similarly, in devotional service, surrender means that one has to become confident. The devotee thinks, Avashya Rakshibhya Krishna, Krishna will surely protect me and give me help for the successful execution of devotional service. This is called confidence. So again, what does it mean renunciation, proper renunciation? Not renunciation in mode of passion when someone is abandoning his prescribed duties, being impatient. But again, the characteristics of renounced work are described in the verse number 6, 18.6, that this activity are performed in detached mood, and it should be done dutifully. It is dutiful and detached activity. It is proper understanding of renunciation. And also it is based on understanding that there are 5 causes or 5 factors of activity, which we are going to discuss today. Not discussed yet because it will be from the verse number 13. Just again, let's have some patience till we will get to the verse number 13, and then we will get to know how it goes. Renunciation mode of passion, it is not renunciation itself, because to be renounced means to be patient. To be renounced means to be patient, detached from fruits, to be dutiful, and so on. So that's why Krishna explains that this renunciation in Rajagun, actually it is not the renunciation, it is action which never leads to the elevation of renunciation. And again, if we know some senior devotees who are serving for a long time, doing the same service, Pujari, temple president, and so on, and they are not giving up their services, they don't consider their services to be troublesome, to be like a burden, then likely their motives are not Raja Guna motives or Tamaguna motives. Likely their motives are good. So let's go further. Verse number 18.9, and we will ask whom we should ask. We should ask Mataji Achyuta. Mataji Achyuta, please help us with this verse. Hare Krishna.
Karyam iti eva yad karma niyatam kriyate arjuna sangam tiktva phalam chaiva satyaga satviko mata. Translation: O Arjuna, when one performs its prescribed duty only because it ought to be done and renounces all material association and all attachment to the fruit, his renunciation is said to be in the mode of goodness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So again, the same things are repeated again and again. for us to understand it better. It is natural method how we study things, how we learn things. We just repeat all the same again and again. So dutiful approach. One performs prescribed duty because it has to be done. Point number 1. No attachment to the fruits, number 2, and also renunciation from material association. Here is mentioned. What does it mean? It means we're here in a material world, but we can be in spiritual dimension here. Means our body is in material world, but we're not this body, we're this consciousness. And we can maintain our consciousness on spiritualized level by doing good sadhana, by waking up early in the morning, by chanting our rounds attentively, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then if someone becomes really exalted devotee, then like Advaita Acharya told to Lord Chaitanya, the same way we can say about such elevated people, where are you? There Vrindavan is manifested. Like Advaita Acharya, he told this to Gauranga Mahaprabhu, the same way, just because someone has spiritualized consciousness, this atmosphere is easily changed around him. You can easily see this when we invite our spiritual masters at our places, and we can see this very easily. That's why not only Dhamma or place of pilgrimage where Supreme Lord was manifesting his Leelas are there. Not only Dhamma, but also we have such term as Tirtha. Tirtha means the place which was visited by a saintly person, and because of that, this place is considered to be saintly. Originally, it is not saintly. Originally, it is not Ganges, it is not Yamuna, or it is not Vrindavan, Mayapur, but someone visited that place. For example, spiritual master visited you at your apartment. Okay, now you can consider your apartment to be Tirtha, if you wish. But also it is important to maintain this atmosphere. Otherwise, this atmosphere, spiritualized atmosphere, also can go somewhere. So, what does it mean to be renounced of all material association? It means that there is social dimension, there is societies, there are people who are around us. It is social dimension, and at the same time, there is spiritual dimension. On spiritual dimension, we are spiritual souls. And it means what? It means that if we engaged our morning time in chanting holy names, reading books, if we have nourished ourselves with this spiritual energy, then even when we go at our work, at our job, or somewhere else, and externally we are playing a particular role of a worker or of someone else. Anyway, internally we understand we are spiritual soul and part and parcel of Krishna. It is the miracle of good sadhana. Externally we are able to behave with other living entity and with other people as we usually do, but internally we have this feeling, and this feeling, this remembrance, this smaranam helps us to survive in spiritual life. In purport, Srila Prabhupada gives this example of a man working in Krishna consciousness in a factory who doesn't associate himself with the work of a factory, nor with the workers of the factory. He simply works for Krishna, and he gives up the result for Krishna. Of course, not to associate oneself with the workers of the factory doesn't mean that we neglect these people. Otherwise, our relationships will be destroyed, and maybe such worker will be kicked out from the factory if he will be neglecting some social rules or some some things that are important at their place. But it is really important that this feeling comes to the practitioner. If sadhana is good, if japa is good, if we have sufficient Vaishnava association, then naturally we go at our job, and our job is not all at all for us. It is not something which is extremely important for us. It is just part of our life, But internally, we understand that the main identity that we have, it is identity of Krishna devotee. That's why our spiritual masters, they time to time, they instruct us that first of all, identify yourselves as you are ISKCON members, as you are devotees. Naturally, when we go somewhere to some society or to some job, then because we are influenced by this atmosphere and by these people, we get this feeling that we are part of this job or part of this factory. And of course, it is also should not be neglected. Otherwise, if your boss will feel that you're not associating yourself with that place, maybe you will be kicked out from there. So externally we should look like normal people, and of course this dutiful detached approach to the work, to our activity is very important. Dutiful, responsible, detached approach. When people who are around us, they see that we are doing our duties with responsibility, we are doing this dutifully, then they think, okay, they are normal people, they are good people. I can trust them because he is responsible. But internally, we understand I'm doing this for Krishna, not for this boss. Boss can think he is doing this for me, for my income. It is for Krishna. But it is big secret. Don't share this secret with your boss. That Bhoktaram yage tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram. Bhoktaram yage tapasam. Or all yagas and all tapasyas should be performed for Krishna's pleasure, for Krishna's happiness. Materialistic people, they think if they are becoming bosses, they are thinking everyone has to follow my orders, and everything should be done for me and for my vision and understanding. But we have this small secret that we are doing this for Krishna, and it makes us free from this materialistic atmosphere, which contaminates one very easily if we take this materialistic mindset. It is much more better to be in this mindset of renunciation, which is described here in Bhagavad Gita, that you do externally, you do dutifully, responsible way, but at the same time, don't be attached to the fruits and dedicate everything to Krishna, and it will be your yagya. It can be like our meditation, and we also can donate some part of our income to ISKCON projects. It is also the way how we can honestly say, okay, I was working for Krishna. And it is not just words, it is my action that I've got my salary or my income from my business, then some part of this income or of this salary I give to Krishna through ISKCON. And it makes one happy, especially if we have trust to those whom we are donating, right? Dvarkadish Prabhuji. Otherwise, if we don't have trust, we know what to do. We were discussing this in our previous classes. Anyway, the solution can be found. It is not the big deal. We can find the solution. If one wants to serve Krishna, if one wants to dedicate his efforts to Krishna, basically there is no impediment. there is a way, there is always a way how to serve, how to do it, and through whom we are going to dedicate it to Krishna, to spiritual master, and so on. This understanding, some understanding we already have. If we think that we want to have more understanding on how to serve, then we can pray to Krishna, and we can continue with this service of devotion, with this process of devotional service. And then Tisham Satata Yuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam Dadami Budhi Yogam Tam Yanamam Upayanti Te Bhagavad Gita 10.10. He will give us more intelligence to understand how to serve. And we will be serving, and it will be making us more and more happy. It is our plan for next 10,000 years. Hare Krishna. Okay, so verse number 10, 18.10. And we will ask Mataji Bhakti Priya Madhavi to read this verse. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Na dveshti akushalam karma kushale nanu sajjate tyagi sattva samavishto medhavi chinna samshayaha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. The intelligent renouncer situated in the mode of goodness, neither hateful of inauspicious work, nor attached to auspicious work, has no doubts about work. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So you see, again, it is about the person who is situated in transcendence. Here in purport, Srila Prabhupada explains this, that it is not just some kind of intelligent renouncer. All of us, we have some intelligence, right? Some of us have more intelligence, some of us have less, but anyway, intelligence is there. But here it is not just about intelligence, it is about being in transcendence, being free from influence of three modes of material nature. So the similar idea is described in 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Again, here it is written, he is neither hateful of inauspicious work nor attached to auspicious work, and he has no doubts about work. He has no doubts about work means he is fixed in understanding that it should be done for Krishna. So the similar statement we have here in 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Arjuna is asking Krishna how to understand that someone is in transcendence, someone is free from influence of three modes of material nature. So here Krishna gives similar description that a person is free from influence of three modes of material nature if he one who doesn't hate illumination, attachment, and delusion when they are present or long for them when they are disappear. What does it mean? Illumination, attachment, and delusion. Delusion or illusion means tamaguna, attachment means rajaguna, illumination means sattvaguna, because when one is under influence of sattvaguna, all nine gates of his body are illuminated with knowledge, as you probably remember from that verse. So it means what? It means that usually living entity has his preferences, that I want some objects of my senses, some objects I want, it is pleasant for me, and some objects I don't want. And here the description goes that one who is in transcendence, he is not deriving, he has no idea to derive his happiness or his meaning of life from any object which belongs to three modes of material nature. Or better to say, he is fixed in devotional service, which is transcendental by its nature. On practical level, it means that he is ready to serve Krishna, and it is not so much important what are the conditions. It can be tamasic conditions, or Rajasic conditions or Sattvic conditions around him. But anyway, his attention and his consciousness is sharpened in such way that he is able to serve in different conditions, and he is not too much disturbed about these changeable circumstances that are around him, because everything is inside. The determination to serve is inside. The super soul is inside. And we chant holy names: Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And when we chant holy names, it is not that we become connected with Rajagun or Tamagun or Sattvagun. No, we are becoming connected with Krishna when we chant holy names. Holy names are Krishna himself. So when one really becomes fixed and realized in the spiritual level, then he is not so much disturbed about what's going on outside, but he is blissful and happy because he has an opportunity to serve Krishna. He has no doubts about work. We can see this on examples of our spiritual masters, how they are fixed in devotional service, and they are traveling from one place to another. Somewhere conditions are good, somewhere community is tamasic. But anyway, they are always inspired, and they are happy to serve devotees by giving divine association and divine instructions to them. Verse number 11. Dwarkadish Prabhuji, would you like to read the verse number 11? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Nahi deha brita sakyam yaktum karmani asesataha yastu karma pala tyagi sa yagiti abhidiyate. Translation: It is indeed impossible for an embodied being to give up all activities. But he who renounces the fruits of action is called one who has truly renounced.
Hare Krishna. So again, the same principle. The soul, spiritual soul, is active according to its nature. When spiritual soul is in spiritual world, then the soul happily serves Krishna. When living entity in material world, then the same senses are used to serve, to fulfill different selfish desires of a living entity. But anyway, in both cases, they are active. Those who are serving Krishna in spiritual world, and those who are trying to serve themselves in material world. One cannot just give up all activities. Mayavadis, they are trying to give up, they are just trying to sit and to do nothing. But anyway, you have to breathe, you have to eat something, and so on. So we cannot give up activity. It is not normal, it is not natural. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada gives the broader understanding of what does it mean sannyasi. Sannyasi, it is not the person in sannyasi dress who accepted sannyas formally, you know. It is, first of all, it is the mood in which any person, it is not important which is his social order. It is important what is his mood, what is his approach to the work, what he is doing. So it can be any person. So he gives broader understanding what does it mean sannyasi. He who works for Krishna and doesn't enjoy the fruitive results, who offers everything to Krishna, is actually a renouncer. There are many members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness who work very hard in their office or in the factory or some other place, and whatever they earn, they give to the society. Whatever they earn, they give to the society. We can take the example of Jayananda Thakur, Srila Prabhupada's disciple, Jayananda Thakur. He was a temple president for some period of time, and just to maintain the temple, he had to work as a taxi driver for some time. and the whole income he was given to the temple. So externally, we can say it is karmic engagement, karmic work, karmic job, because you see this. To be a taxi driver, it is not the easiest work. It is not the easiest job. It takes a lot of physical energy. And it is not that all people who are you driving from one place to another, they are sattvic people or saintly people. It is not so. So externally, it looks like that this job is meant for some people who are not Brahmanas or Vaishnavas, or some people can think like this, but one of the quality of Vaishnava, 26 qualities of Vaishnava, there are 26 qualities of Vaishnava that are listed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and one of the quality is Daksha. Daksha means to be expert in something. And Srila Prabhupada was explaining the meaning of this quality, Daksha, that to be Daksha or to be expert, it means to be able to do what has to be done. In case of Jayananda, if there is a need to maintain temple, then Jayananda goes and works as a taxi driver. Then he gives everything to the society, and he was never taking sannyas, Jayananda Thakur, but he has this mood, and there are some more examples. There are some more examples of saintly Vaishnavas in ISKCON who have this mood. Such highly elevated souls are actually sannyasis and are situated in the renounced order of life. It's clearly outlined here how to renounce the fruits of work and for what purpose fruits should be renounced. Or for example, Srila Prabhupada was also glorifying these Grihastha couples who he sent from US to Europe to open ISKCON temples in London and somewhere else. And he was also saying about them that they are real sannyasis, because they did much more that his god brothers in Gaudiya Math times. They were trying also to preach in Europe, and there were some success, but this success was so small in comparison with what these Grihastha couples were able to do under Srila Prabhupada's guidance. We have this book where biographies of saintly devotees from ISKCON are described. I think this book is called Many Moons. Many Moons, or maybe, I don't know. Have you seen this book, Many Moons, or not? Just let's see. Many Moons, Amazon. Let's see. Is it that book or not? Looks like it is another one. Okay, there is one book where the biographies of ISKCON devotees are there. I will try to get the information. What is the title?
Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I've seen this book in Bhakti Vedanta database, Prabhuji. It was there. Many
Really?
moons.
It is there. So it is Many Moons book, or what is title?
Yeah. Many Moons. Yes.
Many Moons. Okay. Great. So this book is also in Bhaktivedanta database, like Dialectical Spiritualism is also there. But anyway, we will send this book to you through the coordinator. And these books, both books. And now we are going to the verse number 12. And we will ask Narottam Prabhuji to read this verse. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Anishtam ishtam mishram cha trividam karmanah phalam bhagavati atyaginam pritya natu sannyasinam kochit. Translation. For one who is not renounced, the threefold fruits of action, desirable, undesirable, and mixed, accrue after death. But those who are in the renounced order of life have no such result to suffer or enjoy. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So the question raises, why these people who are acting on renounced platform, why they have no such result to suffer or enjoy, or better to say, how they put themselves in this dimension of akarma. You understand? Akarma. You are doing something and you are not getting any karmic result. Negative karma, vikarma, or positive pious karma, sukriti. You are not getting anything here. And a materialistic person can think, why should I act if I'm not getting anything? I should get something. What they use. Srila Prabhupada was saying there is no good karma or bad karma in material world, because any karma is bad. Because of that karma we have to stay here. In that sense, there is no difference. It can be bad karma or good karma, but any karma is bad. So this verse number 12, it goes just before verse number 13, from which this subject matter, 5 causes or 5 factors of action is described. If someone understands this subject matter properly, about these 5 causes of action, and if one doesn't consider himself to be a doer, then naturally he will be able to mold his consciousness in such way that akarma will be there, that no karmic reactions will be there. It depends with which consciousness we are acting. So this conception, which will be described in here till the next verse number 13, is really important for our spiritual life. Sometimes people, they are thinking that for bhakti, for practicing bhakti, I have to get some knowledge and I have to develop this renunciation, which we are discussing here in these verses. But actually, it is interrelated in different way, like it is written in Srimad Bhagavatam, here in this verse 1 to 7. Verse 1 to 7 is very important for us to understand what is, in general, what is the role of this renunciation. Chapter number 18 is about renunciation, perfection of renunciation. Or, for example, we have chapter number 4, which is called transcendental knowledge. And some people, they are saying, let me develop knowledge in myself, or let me develop renunciation. Then it will, because of that, my bhakti will grow. But it is interrelated in different way. So here in Srimad Bhagavatam 1 to 7, it is said, Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yogah Prayojitaha Gyana Yatyashu Vairagyam Gyanam Chayad Ahaitukam, which means by rendering devotional service unto the personality of Godhead Shri Krishna, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment from the world. So we're not following this path of Mayavadis or impersonalists who are just sitting and reading Vedanta Sutra, like you probably remember that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was criticized by Prakashananda Saraswati's followers that why you're dancing and chanting and why you're not just sitting with us and reading Vedanta Sutra like a real sannyasi, serious guy, why you're not acting like this, why you're dancing and chanting. So some people, they can think that this knowledge and detachment are developed, has to be developed separately from devotional service, but this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam says 1 to 7 that knowledge will come and detachment, renunciation also will come as the result of bhakti, just because we are dealing with higher taste, we chant holy names, we take prasadam. Because of that, naturally we become detached from different sense objects of this material world. It works like this. Otherwise, if someone is trying to develop knowledge and detachment separately from bhakti, these things developed separately from bhakti can make one proud. Oh, I know so much. Or I am so renounced, not like this materialistic people. So knowledge, gyan, and vairagya, detachment, are byproducts, are products of bhakti, of practice of the bhakti. It should be understood. And again, it is Srimad Bhagavatam, verse 1 to 7. And again, I invite you on Bhakti Vaibhava course. Don't stop on Bhakti Shastri course. You go further also and learn more and more about Krishna, and it will help you in your life. In your life. Verse number 13. Okay, now we are about to discuss 5 factors or 5 causes of any actions. It is really important. The knowledge which makes one, which puts one in a karma dimension. A karma dimension. Really important knowledge. Really important knowledge. Mataji Keshavi Palini, would you like to read the verse?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Panchaitani Mahabaho Karanani Nibhutami Sankhya Kritante Proktani Siddhaye Sarva Karmanam. Translation. O mighty armed Arjuna, according to the Vedanta, there are 5 causes for the accomplishment of all action. Now, learn of these from me. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Okay. So what do we have in this purport? Well, actually it will be told in the next verse, but anyway, just even before that, Srila Prabhupada in his purport, he emphasizes this point that between all these 5 causes of actions, the ultimate cause or ultimate control is invested in the super soul. Or like, for example, His Holiness Bhakti Vaibhava Maharaj, he is saying that Supreme Lord, he is cause of all causes and because of all becauses. So he controls everything. As it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarvasya Chaham Hridisani Vishta, he is engaging everyone in certain activities by reminding him of his past actions, and Krishna conscious acts done under his direction from within yield no reaction, either in this life or in the life after death. So now in this verse number 14, these 5 causes or 5 factors are listed. Finally, we came to this verse, and we will ask, whom we should ask, by the way? We will ask Mataji Divya. We will ask Mataji Divya to read this verse number 14. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Adhishtanam tatha karta karanam cha pragatvidam vividascha pratakeshta devim chaivartar panchamam. Translation. The place of action, the body, the performer, the various senses, the many different kinds of endeavor, and ultimately the super soul. These are the 5 factors of the action. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So now I will show you the picture where everything is shown. Everything is shown very nicely. So here 5 causes of action. I will try to make full screen presentation. Okay, is it visible? Please tell me, is it visible? Visible. Okay, great. So we have these 5 Sanskrit terms. You can write it down if you wish. Adhishthanam, Karta, Karanam, Cheshta, and Daivam. Daivam means super soul. All our activities depend on his will and on his sanction. He is ultimate controller. Likely you remember this verse from chapter 13. Upadrashta Numantacha, Bharta Bhokta Maheshwaraha. Upadrashta Numantacha, Bharta Bhokta Maheshwaraha. This verse is from 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Upadrashta means he is observing what we are doing. Anumanta means that he gives sanction. he permits or he doesn't permit our actions. Upadarashta Numanta, then Bharta Bhokta. Bhokta, he is supreme enjoyer, and Bharta looks like it is the supreme possessor, if I don't, if I'm not wrong. So he is Anumanta. Anumanta means he gives sanctions. He permits or he doesn't permit. He is the ultimate cause of action. And beside this, we have 4 causes more. Adhishthanam, it is body or place of action. And karta means doer. Karta, doer. Doer means soul. So here in this classification, Krishna, he distinguishes between body and soul. Body and soul, not the same. We are not this body. 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Adhishtanam, body, like an instrument through which we can perform different actions. And karta means soul, spiritual soul. And then we also have karanam and cheshta. Karanam means senses, instruments of action, karmendriyas, senses that are used to perform our actions. And cheshta means endeavors that we put in our actions. And everything is interrelated. Daivam or super soul is the ultimate controller of all these things, because if there is no sanction, then there is no ability to do cheshta. He will not give power. He will not allow us to fulfill our desires. Everything is controlled by him. He is like a thread on, how do we call it? This analogy is given in 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that everything rests on me. Krishna is saying everything rests on me, like on the thread. So the same way our consciousness also rests on him. We are able to function because of him. Sarvasya chaham hridisani vishtam atah smritir jnanam apochanam cha. From him, jnana, knowledge comes, and forgetfulness, remembrance. So all these functions of our mind and any kind of our cheshta or endeavors that we can perform, everything depends on him. Through demigods it is given to us. These capacities are given to us. Narottama Prabhuji, what is the question?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Looking at one of the causes, Devam, which says all our activities depend on his will and sanction. Does this contradict with our free will?
What contradicts with free will?
But it says that all our actions depend on the will of the Lord and his actions. So he decides everything. So does this contradict with our free will?
That is the point, that Bhakti Yoga is about how to synchronize his desires, our desires with his desires. If it is synchronized, it is ideal situation. But again, we should synchronize using our free will. If one uses his free will and if he synchronizes his desires with desires of Krishna, then we cannot say that he neglects his will or he is misusing his free will. He is using his free will in the best way, the best possible way. Otherwise, if we just serve sense objects and our desires, it is also free will, but it is misused free will, and because of that we are here in material world. See? Free will is also there, and the results are also there. If we usually we have results, we have karma, bad karma or good karma, so-called good karma. And here in these verses, Krishna explains what to do if we want not to be bound by any karma. But still, free will is here. I don't know. Does it answer on your question?
No, Prabhuji. It makes sense. What you said makes perfect sense. So we have to synchronize our, intention with the Lord's will. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Okay, we're going further. We have 5 minutes more. Maybe we will be able to study something else today. Let's see. Okay, so it is verse number 14. Okay, well, what should we do now? Okay, let's read the place from Burijan Prabhu's book. It will be the last reading for today. Okay, verse number 14. Just let me find his purport on the verse number 14 here. Okay. So we have the purport written by Baladeva Vidyabhushana related to these 5 causes of the action. Baladeva Vidyabhushana writes the following. If the jiva's being a doer is under the regulating control of the Supreme Lord, then we have to say that his activity doesn't proceed from his own will and that he is actually just like a stone or some other inert object. In that case, don't the injunctions and prohibitions of scripture become useless? The answer is, by the way, it is the answer or Narottam Prabhu's question. Now Narottam Prabhuji, Baladeva Vidyabhushana himself is going to answer on your question. The answer is, the jiva receives from the Supreme Lord a body and senses endowed with specific potencies, of which he then becomes the proprietor. Acquiring those potencies, the jiva exerts his free will and assumes control of his body and senses for the purpose of fulfilling karmic endeavors. The Supreme Lord, present within all discoverings, sanctions the jiva's activity and inspires him to act. In this way, there is no contradiction. you asked about contradiction. So you see, he literally answering you about contradiction. You see, it is this message of parampara is eternal. It is not bound by time and space. So it is the answer personally for you. The Supreme Lord, present within all discoverings, sanctions the jiva's activity and inspires him to act. In this way, there is no contradiction between the Supreme's control and the jiva's having his own willpower to act or to refrain from acting. You see, everything is arranged in ideal way by Krishna's mercy. It is so, dear devotees, we have seen the miracle just right now. Baladeva Vidyabhushana is answering to Narottam Prabhu's question about the contradiction. Sometimes such miracles happen. I remember we have watched one class given by Srila Prabhupada in 70s. Maybe you know these recordings. Black and white recordings which are made on black and white TV camera, and their frame is jumping also. You know these recordings, likely you have seen with jumping frame. We were sitting and Srila Prabhupada suddenly he told, you see, now we have a crisis. We have crisis. And when he told that we have crisis, he's saying we have crisis, and it is because people are sinful, they are not following Krishna's orders. This class was recorded in 70s, but we were sitting and watching this class in 2008, when financial crisis was there, and we easily were able to feel like Srila Prabhupada was addressing personally to us. It is really interesting. This message given by Parampara is transcendental, and it is about eternity, and it is about eternal troubles and problems of this material world that are just repeated again and again, again and again. In 70s, they have their own crisis, and in 2008, we had one more. And so in such way, you see, it is really important for us to be able to listen to the spiritual master classes and Srila Prabhupada's classes in such way that we are reading or we're listening, and we have such feeling that it is extremely relevant for us. Extremely relevant for us. When we have this feeling, then this message enters in our hearts more deeply. More deeply. It is really important. Thank you very much, Narottam Prabhuji, for this miracle. Hare Krishna. Okay, basically we should stop here. If someone has questions or thoughts, please share this with us. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. No questions, no thoughts, nothing, right? Everything is clear. Okay, so again, next week we have only one class on Wednesday, because on Monday there will be Ekadashi, on Friday there will be Balairam Purnima. We are having just one class next week in the middle of the week, and then 2 more classes the one more week, the next week. And I hope we will be able to cover the whole chapter. We have a lot of verses here. We didn't cover some of the verses that were planned to cover today, but anyway, I hope we will successfully learn everything. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripasindhya evacha. Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavabhyo namo namaha. Hari Hari Bol. Thank you very much for your attention. Hare Krishna.